We've got a final guest who is second time to the show, Nancy E. Williams of InvaluableFranchiseConsulting.com. Second time to the show. Nancy, are you there? Welcome to the show.
I am. Hi, Tony. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. I know you were holding for a while, so I appreciate you hanging in there. Thanks so much.
No problem. You always have very interesting guests, so I learn something every time.
I appreciate that. Remind everyone about your business, how long you've been in business, what do you do, who do you serve, all that good stuff.
Sure. So we offer professional consulting services specializing in helping people that want to purchase a franchise, or if they have an existing business that's been up and running for over 3 years and some other criteria to franchise their business if that's right for them at this time in the process. So I do specialize in women and minorities simply because what we provide is really advocates and education, and we find that a lot of women and minorities are intimidated by the process of buying a business and have no idea where to start. And so we do our best to bridge that gap, answer any questions, and just facilitate the process all the way through with the franchisor until the agreement is executed.
All right. Now, I was watching something earlier today online. I love the TV show or the online TV show, The Young Turks, and they were doing a story about franchising and, that sort of thing. Are there specific rules and do's and don'ts that someone who is looking to purchase a franchise can do? For example, the segment that I was watching had to do with what a franchisee can show on TV in their shop. Are there certain things that some people can do, or does it vary?
It definitely varies. I'll just say a couple things. All franchises are not created the same, so we always have to start there. And the benefit of working with myself or other franchise consultants is we really do have the inside track in working with franchisors, and we get a very thorough glimpse of the franchise, the success rate, the types of franchisees that they're currently working with and that they're looking to work with, more financial information than you could ever find online. And also just, part of our practice is to really do some matchmaking. So understanding a lot about our clients' needs in terms of, why they're looking to buy a business, what in their life right now is bringing them to that desire, how many hours they'd like to work, what they'd like to, how much they'd like to invest. Is this a family business? Are they long-term? Are they short-term? Meaning looking to sell? So there's so many different nuances with franchises that you really working with a consultant is my recommendation, particularly because our services are complementary, and there's no reason to work with someone that can give you information virtually for free.
Okay. Let's say I come to you and I say, Nancy, I've got some money. I want to become a franchise owner. What's the minimum that I can invest in a franchise?
Yeah, great question. So a lot of people know about multi-level marketing, and they ask me frequently, is that considered a franchise? And we really typically refer to those as business opportunities. They're not necessarily strictly held and don't have the same government requirements as a franchise. So there are several business opportunities that I will recommend to my clients if they're really on the lower end of the investment scale, meaning they want to do something sort of on the side. They'd like to keep their day job. They really enjoy the job, or they just want to build up some capital on the side. So there are opportunities as low as, $1,000 or so that is a business opportunity. I would say in terms of franchising, there are opportunities like travel agencies that are running around the $10,000 mark. $25,000 can get you into something like fingerprint, background checking, background screening, employee services. But most people are spending probably $50,000 to $75,000, and that is a good area for people that want to do things like children's services, after-school programs, a lot of senior care services that you can do out of your home. And then if you want to go, if you're really looking for something that's more of a brick and mortar, you're definitely going to be looking at something $100,000 and up, and food typically tends to be on the much higher end of the scale.
Okay, I love that. Now, if you want to become a franchise owner, do you necessarily have to run the business day to day, or can you hire somebody?
That's a great question. So we really have three models. We have what we consider our executive model, where you typically are going to hire a team. So, again, I mentioned before there are people that would like to keep their day jobs. You tend to see that a lot in corporate execs that like their job and they just want to run something on the side or have a family business. They will usually hire a director team and then out from there, managers and employees. So that's more of an executive model. And we also have an absentee, which is where really someone else is completely running the business. You're hands off. You have a business development manager, and you're simply just checking the books once in a while. And then we have semi-absentee, where you may not be going in on a daily basis. You might be checking into the business maybe once a month, every couple of weeks. And then we have the owner-operated, where you're in there on a daily basis. It might be just you on your own if it's a consulting type of franchise, or you may have a team of home health care workers that you're dispatching to seniors' homes so they can stay there. So there's a lot of different models, and it's really specific to the franchisor because certain franchisors do not accept all levels of ownership. So it is specific.
So how involved do you get when it comes to setting up someone like me with a franchise business? I mean, is there a certain point where you say, okay, I'm out?
Yeah, so I like to gauge my involvement based on my client's needs. So I have clients today that either already have had franchises and they're looking to open a new one or another one, and they're just kind of like, hey, I know how to do this. I just want to get your opinion on where I should go and what new business that I should be opening. I've done this before. I know how to validate. I know how to go through discovery, so I'm good. So that level is going to be really me just working with them in the beginning, matching them up with the franchises, doing introductory calls, and then sort of letting the process go and checking in with them. Then you have on the other end of the spectrum is people that just have no idea what any of this is all about, and I'm very much more involved in that. So I will do an initial 30-minute session with them, asking them all kind of questions, just learning a lot about them and what their needs are. And once I've found a couple of recommendations, I'll present that to them. If they're excited about any of those opportunities, I will actually set up the call with the franchisor. I will be on that introductory call, and I will help facilitate that by asking questions that I think maybe the franchisor isn't answering, or I know something specific that my client wants to hear. And so I'm there involved in that. I provide them tools, questions that they can go off and ask franchisees that they're validating the process with. In certain cases, I can attend Discovery Day with them if it's flying out to the franchisor site to understand what the headquarters looks like. And I also have a very strong network of resources for my clients, anywhere from business attorneys I can recommend, CPAs, tax consultants, just all sorts of things I can help them with. And then, facilitating the signing of the agreement, and then post-agreement. So I do there are clients that I check in with monthly to say, how's the business going? Are you getting everything that you need? Is the franchisor doing what they promised they were to do? And so, again, it really just depends on the needs of that client.
Okay, and then you mentioned $100,000 when, let's say, it's a restaurant or whatever, usually, food services and that sort of thing. Would I have to cut a check for $100,000 right then and there? Can I split up the payments? I want to give people sort of a sense of, what's involved and how to do it.
Sure. So when you're the kind of the financial basics of a franchise is this. The first thing you need to look at is what the franchise fee is, and that typically is going to be somewhere between maybe $25,000 and $50,000, depending on the type of franchise and the support that they're giving. That is required cash up front the day that you sign the agreement with the franchisor. Then there's a line usually in the description called cash investment, and that includes the franchise fee, but also could include some additional funding that you're going to need to have within the first 30 days, whether it's to secure a commercial property, some type of equipment, etc. They just want to make sure that you have all that money and you're going to be ready to go after you get out of training. And then the third number that you need to understand is the total overall investment, which again will include both the franchise fee and the cash investment that they're asking for. But it's typically a range simply because the type of business. So we have some businesses, Mobile Locksmith is a very good example. You at some point are going to need to secure a van, and you're going to need to secure some equipment so that your folks can do the locksmithing, and you're going to need an office space, a small office space with the locked rooms to store your inventory. Some require that you have 6 months' worth of capital, 3 to 6 months' worth of capital to pay your employees. So it varies, but those are the three things that you're going to need to be looking at when you're looking at investment. And the overall investment, what's important about that is that because that's not cash that you have to have in your pocket, they are going to want evidence that you have access to that capital. So it could be from an SBA loan. It could be from equity in your home. It could be in unsecured lines of credit, or it could be from your 401k that you've repurposed to start and fund this business.
All right, that sounds good. Nancy Williams, do you want to give your website and make an offer?
Sure, absolutely. So my website is www.valuable franchise consulting. My toll-free line is 800-710-7457. And as I mentioned before, my services are complimentary to my clients. The way I'm compensated is from placing a client in with a franchisor, so that really gives me incentive to find the best fit and not necessarily work for a specific franchise. I do have up to 500 in my portfolio, but I can work with many others outside of that. And so I would say just give me a call or visit my website. You can browse and look for franchise opportunities there and send me a note right from the website if you find one that you're really interested in. And, I would love to talk to you. I know usually they say it takes people three tries at it before they're really ready to move forward, which makes sense. A business investment is not an overnight decision. So give me a call. Let's talk about it. If you're not ready now, you may be ready next year, but you got to at least take that first step.
All right, Nancy Williams, wonderful information as usual. Will you come back and talk to us again?
Absolutely. The pleasure would be mine, Tony.
All right, sounds good. Shoot me an email and we'll get you back on the schedule. Thank you so much.
Will do. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.